So the chip shortage is expected basically to run throughout this year, probably into 2023 and even 2024. And then you had news by NVIDIA, which basically matches the discussion that I explained earlier, that NVIDIA is expecting alleviation of their GPU supply shortage in the second half of this year. So why could that be? The reason is NVIDIA is planning to launch their new 4000 series of graphics cards in the second half of this year. And these GPUs will also be manufactured by TSMC again, but I just let me quickly check. But basically, these will also be manufactured on a process at TSMC that is currently not yet utilized. So therefore, there are new production locations that will come online for these new products, and therefore you will have capacities that are currently not being used, supplying new stuff for the market. Yeah, and that's actually exactly this announcement that I have now here. That it was a 5 nanometer process as well, and the 5 nanometer process is important to note that it's now going to be utilized by NVIDIA. One of the major players that was using that particular node, this particular production process, was Apple in the past few years, because the chips starting with Apple's what was it, A14, that was in the iPhone 12 series, and which was the basis also for the new Mac chips, so the M1, M1 Pro, M1 Max, and the A15 from last year was based on a refined node, so also a bit refined process, and we have now also rumors that Apple is basically switching to a 4 nanometer process, but there already was a clarification, as you can see here on this article, that this is not true 4 nanometer, what Apple is switching to, but still Apple is switching to a new process from TSMC that is called where is it, N4P, and which is a further refinement of the 5 nanometer process by TSMC. And due to this switch, Apple now reduces capacity on TSMC's 5 nanometer production facilities, and these resources that are coming available, they can now be used by other companies like Nvidia, like Intel, and therefore you will be able to get more products to the market with existing production locations. But that doesn't mean that TSMC is basically doing nothing. They are expanding quite heavily. So Apple is expected to go to 3 nanometer, I think, next year, and it seems like also Intel also wants to get 3 nanometer capacity. So if I heard that correctly, in another report, TSMC is basically retooling a R&D facility for Intel to be used as a 3 nanometer production facility, so that the capacities allocated for Apple and for Intel are basically separated. And of course, retooling a existing facility is cheaper and faster than building something new, which actually is also good news. This article that is currently up by Notebook Check, it's referencing articles by Digitimes, which are referenced here down below. But I chose not to show these here directly because the Digitimes articles are behind the paywall, and it would be not so nice for you guys to if I just show you a page here that basically has no information at all. Yeah, but basically this shows we will have the next iteration of products that for next year. They will further alleviate these bottlenecks because you have again new nodes coming online, new production capabilities coming available. So the shortage itself will definitely depend on how long it's going to be on. It will depend on the different sectors because what I was discussing in the past few minutes here is basically the alleviation of the demand on the high-end side. But you have a lot of chips that are still manufactured on lower manufacturing nodes. But that should also be alleviated due to the same changes, because if I remember correctly, AMD's Ryzen's controller module that is basically handling the interconnect between the different chiplets of Ryzen CPUs. They are still manufactured, I think, on 14 nanometer or something like that. So much older process, but probably when they are now going to 6 nanometer or even I think the new Ryzen 7000 that AMD teased at CES as well, they're going to be 4 nanometer TSMC process. So probably the cores that or the controller modules that AMD is using will then go to the 7 nanometer process, and because there is a lot more capacity available thanks to not having to produce all the chiplets anymore. And it will be similar with a lot of other components as well. So it might be that due to all these new product launches that are coming up this year and next year, that we will see much faster alleviation of the whole situation than it was originally predicted here in the in the article here on EDN, which I showed initially. So it will be interesting to see how everything develops in the upcoming months, and let's hope that we can get past these shortages, and that basically the resource situation for components gets better, because we're dealing with higher inflation in general at the moment, and it would be nice to see this to be countered a bit as part of the alleviation of the shortage situation.